Hello, my wonderful friends. It's me again. And it's time for another fantastical story from the internet. I'm in a mood. I don't really know why, but I'm just rolling with it, you guys. Anyway, this comes from the Neckbeard Stories subreddit. This is from Reddit user Patchedmint. I'm not sure what that makes me think of, but for some reason it feels like a candy. I like your name, is what I'm trying to say, in a very strange, specific way. I don't even know why I said that. Anyway, this story is called Be Mindful of Neckbeards Online. A very good piece of advice, but let's get into the story. I've been watching a lot of Reddit videos these days to pass the time during the pandemic, and I found this subreddit through Tim Tam Tom. We've never actually spoken, but I do know that you've read some of my stories on your channel, sir. Good job. I liked it. This is my first time using the website, and honestly I didn't think I ever would. But I think it's important to share my story. Most neckbeards are just annoying, horny, rude, and fun to laugh at when it's all said and done. My experience, it was a little different. This story happened when I was in 7th to 9th grade. I'm 25 now. At a rather tumultuous time in my life. There were parents' addictions, cheating, divorce, moving from a city to a small town, and bullying galore, and needless to say, I was in desperate need of some sort of escape. Late in 7th grade, I found anime. It was the perfect way to distract myself from everything that was happening. Fantasy worlds, cool characters, romance, stories. It had everything I loved. So, I immersed myself in that life. I spent most of my free time watching this stuff, learning more and more about the process, and eventually stumbling upon voice actor and convention scenes. Of course, I found myself drawn to one voice actor in particular, and as such, found his fandom website online. I joined, and was soon talking with other fans, expressing excitement about our favorite shows, and eventually becoming very close with a lot of them. Enter Neckbeard number 1. We'll call him B. I had my first Skype call with B and a huge group of fans about 3 months or so after joining the fan club. It was chaotic, and I was more than a little intimidated. B took the time to calm me down, talk to me, and reassure me that I was liked and included. Very quickly, I took a liking to him. He was an aspiring voice actor. To be fair, he was pretty good. He was short, chubby, neckbeardy, but to me he seemed really kind and pretty harmless. Nothing more than a guy obsessed with anime and willing to be my friend, something I really lacked in the real world. Someone finally noticed me. They thought I was pretty cool. A slight problem, though. I was about 13 or 14, and he was 22. Yikes. Big yikes. Oh, no. Eventually, we carved out a little Skype group. It was me, him, and a few other people my age, or a little older. I don't really talk to them anymore, but I really did become very, very close to most of them. We called each other siblings, talking sometimes more than 12 hours a day for over a year. They helped me get through a lot, even though I was an extremely unhealthy person. They were my glue for a very long time. Looking back, I feel kinda sick now. B was, simply put, he was a horny dude. Every few months or so, he'd be in love with one of the girls in our group. Stop. OP was 13 to 14, and a lot of the people there were not much older or younger than this person. B was more than a horny dude, he sounds like a fucking groomer. Moonhorse just got really fucking pissed. Yep, let's keep going. Cycling through us like water through a watermill. Most of us underage. Yeah, that's what I was fucking waiting for. That's the one. And as we were young and naive, we didn't know it was a problem. Luckily, none of us ever gave in to him specifically, but that didn't mean that anyone was completely safe. Enter Neckbeard number 2. We'll call him S. S was B's IRL friend who joined the group a few months in, also 22 years of age. Yeah, I'm getting pretty fucking pissed off. This is... Nope. Getting the big angry now. He was funny, charismatic, and just all around a nice guy. I bet he was. One night, I went to him in tears, my self-esteem so low that you could blow a hole right through it. S talked me down, saying stuff like, "I'd never hurt you, you're so worth it in my eyes, you're beautiful." You are a fucking adult talking to a literal child. You fucking degenerate. I fell right into his trap. A day later, we were dating. I was so desperate for someone to love me, I let this guy manipulate and mold me until everything I was doing was for him. He was the most important person to me, and yes, that also meant sexual things as well. Towards the end of our relationship, we discussed meeting up IRL at an anime convention. He demanded that we meet in his hotel room. Oh, I fucking bet he did, the piece of shit. He'd have flavored jellies ready for us, he said. We'd have a hot night, he said. I was still only 14. When my plans for the convention fell through, he was enraged. Yeah, I bet he was. Demanding that he drive down to my house and rescue me from my evil mother who would dare to keep me there. Oh, you piece of shit. I told him no. I told him that he could not do that. He insisted and insisted, and I kept telling him no. Then, as suddenly had come into my life, he cut me off completely. We couldn't meet up for sex, there was no point. I was devastated, crushed. I couldn't help thinking that this was all my fault. Later I found out that he had been cheating on his girlfriend that he had since the beginning with me. I was nothing more than a fetish to him. Yeah, I kind of figured that. And again, to reiterate, I was 14 and he was 22. If I had gone to that convention or let him come to me, I think it would have been more than just a fetish. I would have been a victim. Why hadn't B stopped him? Why hadn't any of the others stopped him? I think about this every day. Okay. Let's start with the first part. Patched Men, I don't know if you'll ever hear this video, but the first thing you need to know, the first thing, and this goes for anybody who's ever been through something like this, the first thing you need to know is it is not your fault. It is not your fault, period. I know that you may think that some things might have been your fault, or some things like, oh, maybe I said or did something. No, it's not. You were a child. You were a victim. This motherfucker, on the other hand, this slimy motherfucker, that is a completely different story. Yeah, I'm really fucking pissed off right now, because there are two things in this world that I fucking hate, and I'm not allowed to say either one of the names on any more on this platform because I got in trouble for that shit, but I'm still going to be pissed off about it, and there's nothing they can do to stop me about it. This fucking asshole. So, I'm going to answer some of your last questions here first, alright? Here's the big one. Why hadn't B stopped him? Because they're the same kind of person. Because they're exactly the same. Sick, disgusting motherfuckers like that hang out in their own little similar groups. They create their own specific little subcultures where they can draw in innocent victims, manipulate and abuse them, and then they can toss out anybody when they're done. They create this kind of perfect little vortex that they can control the narrative, everything within. And they do it in such a way that it would not stop them from simply vanishing. Nobody that age should be around that many young people and they're not in some sort of like authoritative capacity, someone who's like a teacher or like a mentor or something like that. That isn't what these motherfuckers are. That is not at all what this was. And I promise you that if there are any other people who are a part of different fan groups of whatever voice actor it is that you were really into, they would be appalled by this behavior too, because normal human beings really fucking hate people like this. And that's a really goddamn good thing. This whole thing is more than just a fetish. This is one of those things that's an obsession. Guys like this like younger people because they're easier to control. It's about manipulation. It's about power. It is never about compassion, care, romance, or love. As it's usually said when it comes to, let's just call it forceful interactions, if you catch my drift. It's not sex. It's an attack. Don't ever let yourself forget that shit. Because it's not. These are two separate things. And that is exactly what this motherfucker was. He was someone trying to force you into something. And when he couldn't get what he wanted, he ran off to try and find someone else. Because sick sons of bitches like that do that shit. And I reiterate, more than anything, this is not your fault. You were fucking 14. You were a child. This guy, however, this is one of those ones where it's like, I have no problem laughing at Neckbeards. I have no problem, hoping they get better. But I can tell you exactly where I hope these two wound up. I think you know where I hope these two wound up. Let's just say it starts with federal and ends with penitentiary. That... Oh my god, I fucking hate people like that. I'm worked up, you guys. But no. It's not okay. And I'm really angry about it. But this would just devolve into me talking about the same thing in circles for the next 45 minutes. So I'm not going to do that to you. You understand where I'm coming from, and you understand what this means. And that goes for every single one of you. If you've ever had to be around somebody like that, if you've ever had to go through something like that, the very first thing you need to remember is it is not your fault. It is never your fault. Don't ever let yourself fall into that trap. Because that's the kind of shit they fucking tell you. They say it's your fault. They say all this shit. They are fucking monsters and liars. I'm going to end the video here, but shit, man. You guys take care of yourselves, okay? This is just a reminder that a lot of times the internet can be a terrifying, scary, horrible place. And just be careful out there, okay? I love you guys so very, very much. And I mean that. Please be careful. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye, everybody.